Talking an awful lot about Lord Mandelson this morning, resigned, of course, last night from the Labour Party. So an awful lot of questions around what the Labour Party knew and when. Should he have been appointed as US ambassador in the first place? Keir Starmer back from China, and I'm sure it's going to be one of the things he's going to be trying to get a grip on today as well. We're joined now, I'm pleased to say, from the government by the Minister for Early Education, Olivia Bailey, who's here with us. Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I did actually want to start with breakfast clubs, because I kind of feel that this is one of these really important domestic policies that in the kind of big geopolitical kind of move can get squeezed, but it is a big deal. It's a big deal for parents. If you just tell us what's happening.
Yeah, it is a big deal. We're announcing today that 500 more schools will be joining our free breakfast club programme from April, on top of the 750 schools that were already delivering them last year, between them delivering more than 7 million breakfasts. And, you know, I've seen firsthand the wonderful impact these breakfast clubs are having. Parents who are saving money, making that start of the day a little bit less stressful. Anybody with children knows how stressful it can be. But also for the children, you know, a wonderful soft start to the day, time with their friends, a healthy breakfast, and we know that this is all having brilliant impacts on attainment, on attendance and behaviour. And so I'm really proud that we've got these new breakfast clubs joining us, and that we will be pushing towards every single primary school in England having a free breakfast club by the end of the Parliament.
I just want to talk about Lord Mandelson now, if I may, because it is this most extraordinary story that's been developing, obviously. And I guess I just was wondering, you know, what went through your mind when you saw that photograph of Lord Mandelson, you know, in his underpants with a woman in a dressing gown?
I mean, nothing about the documents that we've seen over the weekend has been comfortable, because I just think about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's horrendous crimes, women who were raped and abused, children who were abused, and all of our first thought has to be with the victims. And I just want to say, again, as the Prime Minister has said, that anybody with any information or evidence that could help find justice for those victims must come forward and share it.
Now, I should say, you know, Lord Mandelson has no recollection of that picture being taken. He denies wrongdoing. He's also questioned the authenticity of these payments that appear to have been made from Epstein to Mandelson at tens of thousands of pounds. And I guess, you know, there are questions about how the Labour Party has handled this. You know, Lord Mandelson said he did flag up his links with Epstein before he was made US ambassador. I mean, that's got to have been a mistake appointing him to that role.
No, I mean, categorically, the information that we now have from the documents this weekend, the documents in the autumn, was not available to the Prime Minister before that decision was taken to appoint Peter Mandelson. And as soon as the information did become clear, rightly, the Prime Minister took swift action to remove Peter Mandelson as US ambassador. And I'm glad that Peter Mandelson is no longer a member of the Labour Party.
I mean, we know, you're right, of course, that we didn't know all this information. This is new information that's come out on Friday. But we did know that he was still in contact with Jeffrey Epstein after his conviction, right? We knew that. That's enough, isn't it?
We did not know about the extent and nature of Peter Mandelson's ongoing relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
But I guess my point is, we knew enough, didn't we? Surely.
We did. Well, as soon as the information became clear in the autumn, the Prime Minister took swift and decisive action. And I think that was the right action, and I'm glad that Peter Mandelson is no longer a member of the Labour Party.
Would you like to see him go to the States and give evidence?
As I've said, anybody with any information that could help secure justice for the victims should think very, very hard about that, should do that, because the victims and their experiences must be our first priority.
There's one other domestic story that I wanted to ask you about today, which is about small boats. I know this is a big deal for the government. You're trying to bring the kind of crossings down. And today there's this news story that you're talking about where I guess the middleman, the kind of people kind of touting these routes, if you like, are going to be tried to track down and prosecuted on social media. What's happening there?
Look, it's really important that we do absolutely everything we can to dismantle the network of the gangs that are exploiting people across the channel and causing people to risk their lives and sometimes die. I think we've done this really good deal with China to tackle the supply of engines, and we are systematically trying to dismantle the chain of the gangs to make sure that they can't get those boats into the sea in the first place.
And then, we talked about breakfast clubs with your kind of education hat on, with your kind of equality hat on, which I know is part of your brief as well. I just wondered if I could ask you what's going on when it comes to single-sex spaces. Because last year, of course, the Supreme Court ruled that being a woman was defined by biological sex, which has all kinds of implications for everything from changing rooms and toilets to domestic abuse centres. We're still waiting for the government's guidance on single-sex spaces. When is that coming?
Yeah, so as you say, the Supreme Court ruled that for the purposes of the Equality Act, biological sex was paramount. The government's accepted that and has also always accepted and supported the provision of single-sex spaces. So the independent EHRC has been working on its code of conduct to accompany that judgment. That has been submitted to ministers. We are considering it very carefully, as you would want us to do, because it's really important that any single-sex spaces in the future don't have any legal jeopardy. So we're considering that carefully and closely, and as soon as any decision has been taken, it will be laid before the House of Commons.
You can understand why people are starting to wonder why it's been so long. Because, the ECHR submitted the new code of practice in September. In October, they told you to kind of get a move on, to kind of speed things up. It is now February. I mean, what's happening?
It's a really complex issue, as you'll know, and it's right that we do take our time to get it right.
What are the specific complexities that mean it's taking a long time?
There are many legal considerations that we need to consider. We are engaging with the EHRC on it, but as I say, they're an independent regulator. We will make the decision as soon as we can to put this before Parliament.
Are trans women?
So we are clear that the Supreme Court ruled that for the purposes of the Equality Act, biological sex was paramount. There is still the right enshrined in law to change your gender through the Gender Recognition Act. So trans women are trans women, and for the purposes of the Equality Act, women means biological sex.
So trans women then? Number 10 say no.
Trans women are trans women, and for the purposes of the Equality Act, woman means biological sex.
OK, great to have you on the programme today, Olivia Bailey. Thank you very much indeed.